Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to Ensiplex Pachinko. This is Obi-Wan Pez. We're going to be putting together a Emerge Vartan desk chair tonight as the first part of the stream before we actually, do anything. Um, before we use it. Alright, gonna get this all set up here. Of course I'm not going to be able to see my chat from across the room, but whatever, it works. Okay. So, just generally speaking, anytime you're going through any sort of assembly, it's usually a good idea to make a double check that you have all the parts. And I did that prior to stream. So, we got the bottom section here with the seat. I got the top section sitting over there in our closet. Got the little spider thing with all of the places for the wheels, casters. And then we've got all the rest of the parts sitting over here. So, Emerge put a nice little basket with the instructions and all of the tools and everything that you need, including all of the screws and what is that? Those are caps. As well as an Allen wrench, because everybody needs an extra Allen wrench, or like 20. So, generally speaking, find the instructions first. If you can't find the instructions first, I would recommend, at the very least, like trying to find all of the major parts that you know go together and put them together, and then all of the minor parts that go with those major parts, put them in each of their individual groups with those major parts. Sorry, don't put the major parts together. I know what I'm saying, I promise. In my head, it works just fine. Alright, so step one is to take spidery bit and open it up. The plastic that's on here appears to be trapped at the moment, so good times. Okay. That's how it comes out. Cool. Alright, so this is the gas canister that has the release mechanism that will expand once you hit the thing and pop the seat up. So, you need to make sure that that's somewhat nearby. Right, why don't we just take it out for now? Alright, next step is get all of the casters put onto the little spiderweb thing. I recommend using some sort of awesome knife. I've been using these little dinky ones for years, but finally got myself a fairly nice knife here. This is, of course, a cheap $20 Craftsman one rather than the like $100 Spyderco ones that I always wanted. But function over form these days. So keep that close at hand. And we'll get our casters out. So these seem to be a little stiff, but probably will loosen up a bit with use. Okay. Anyway, these are super easy. You just line up the pin with the hole. Make sure that the base is upside down, and then just press in. There might be a little bit of a trick to that. Yeah, just because sometimes they do catch a little bit if you're not too careful. No. Okay. So stick all these in. I get the feeling once I actually put weight on it and like sit on it, it'll actually kind of pop into place. But for now, that's probably good enough. And 5. Alright. Next step. Nope, that's 7. Flip it the other way around. Okay. That's what I'm seeing. Okay. So flip that the other way around. And next we have the gas lift, which goes in that way. And then we have the cover, telescoping cover, which then goes on top like that. Nice. Okay, so then we go over and we say for easier installation, place the seat on top of the box. Well, unfortunately I don't have the box here, but good enough. We got it on my spouse's chair. We need the, what's this thing called? We need the seat plate, which is here, the seat itself, and the A screws, part A. Step 4, part A. Oh, is that perforated? No, okay. I was thinking it was perforated and I could just rip that off. It'd be so awesome. So, if anybody's coming in from a different company, if you design stuff for a company, that might be a good idea. I just probably made you $1 million. Checks payable to Obi-Wan Pez. Okay. We're going to take the seat and flip it over, and I'm trying not to damage the other chair. Okay. Okay. So we'll take the seat plate, and this is the front. So we want to place this down such that the knob goes toward the front. Big knob on the front here goes toward front. And then this is going to go down in the only place it could possibly go. Deal. Okay. So also with a lot of assembly kind of things, what you want to do is put in the screws, bolts, whatever you have. Don't do anything with them yet. Or if they're not going to stay in place by themselves, just hand tighten them real quick. Okay. Once you get all 4 in, then we can use the Allen wrench. Part F. The Allen wrench also has a Phillips screwdriver on the other side. Alright, so just kind of give it a simple loose tie down. Don't try to over tighten it, because otherwise you can damage some of the parts. And if we really, really need to tighten it down more, we can do that later. Uh-oh. Huh. maybe not. Okay, well, it says that this part is supposed to be toward the back, which I guess I can. Okay, yep, that'll work. Anyway, again, just hand tighten, real loose. Hey, Blainlin, I can see it's you. I don't have access to the chat at this exact moment in time. Give me 1 sec. Yep, so this is a new chair. This is a what is it? Emerge Vartan gaming chair. I picked it up today. It was on a bit of a discount, so I was like, all right, let's do it. So this is my spouse's chair. She's going to continue using that one. Works very nicely. My old one, I think sometimes you may go back to the videos and notice that I keep sinking down every so often because the gas, what do they call it? Gas lift. The gas lift on the other chair was starting to die out, so it would start sometimes dump its gas. Okay, yeah, common problem when you hit 40. So that's all tightened, and we're gonna go to next part. It says we're gonna take number 8, number 6, seat. Yeah, that's helpful. All right, so each of the armrests, number 8, with B bolts. All right, so part B. These are color-coded, which also is very helpful. So thank you to Emerge for doing that. Hashtag unsponsored, by the way. Okay. Go over here. Take these out. Oh, that was a silly idea. Don't do that. Don't do that. Put them down, or you're not going to lose them. All right, take the armrests. There we go. Okay, so 4 screw holes. Nice and easy to place on. You just got to know which way is front. So I assume that this is the front being the longer side. I suppose we can actually look at the directions because they'll probably tell us. Huh. It's interesting. It doesn't actually have like an arrow that says front on it, which normally you'd expect. But at any rate, I'm pretty sure that's the front, so it's going to go on this side. All right. Get that actually held in place with the bolts. So we have an IRL stream tonight. Woo! Realistically, I'm going to start probably Final Fantasy Remake. We are at the train graveyard in Sector 7, just before the Shinra enact their horrible, dastardly plan. Okay, so get this down. It's actually easier to like hand tighten stuff when the plate is actually in the correct position. So, if you hold this part of it down flush with the surface, it makes it easier to start doing the hand tightening stuff. If you leave it kind of out like this, just however it's going to be, then it can end up starting to bend your screws and doing all sorts of nasty stuff. So I'm going to try to make it flush, get it as flat as possible. And where did I drop the Allen wrench? This is the other part of hitting 40. You lose shit you had in your hand 2 minutes ago. Alright, here we go. Oop. We're okay. Alright. Let's just set her up. Okay, so when you're doing this again, you got several screws to tighten on one particular part. You don't necessarily want to, or you want to, kind of alternate, go between all four, in this case 4, of the screws, get each of the parts in turn, so that they're all screwed down kind of evenly-ish. It's not like it's a hard and fast rule or anything, but it's a good idea. So I've been just doing 1, 2, 3, 4, going around clockwise. It's not, again, it doesn't really matter all that much on this particular thing. I have had some other things that I was working on that were kind of structurally like important. And sometimes if you just go in a clockwise fashion, it starts bending stuff. So again, you got to think about what's going on, what kind of forces are involved in your particular object, whatever it is. So if some of the forces are going to not be conducive to just going around in a circle, oftentimes I will just skip, go do stuff on one corner and then go to the opposite corner and then get one that's sort of near that one and then go to the opposite corner again. And so it's if you're doing a rectangular thing, I would do like 1, 3, 2, 4 or something like that. You can't see that. I would do like, instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, I would do like 1, 4, 3, 2. Go in an X sort of pattern instead. Makes things potentially work out better. Oh, really? There we go. Okay. All right, those are already nice and tight. So we can move on to the other armrest. Did karate again last night and got back into finally trying to remember some of my forms. It's not going well. It was never going well, really, let's be honest. Huh. These look identical to me. Which potentially means that I got 2 lefts. Okay, well, we'll go with it. So again, line up, hand tighten. Even at first, just like screw it in 2 or 3 just to get them in so you won't drop them. It might be nice. Okay. And again, hand tighten down as far as we can go. use the tool. Now, if these were more free spinning, and if the Allen wrench was meant to use both sides, again, this is a Phillips head on this side, I would actually use the small one to spin faster, since you don't have to turn the whole thing all the way around. And just give them a little tug. Make sure that they are, in fact, tight, but not, again, don't over tighten because you can bend stuff. So just loosely give them a tug. See how they're doing. If it doesn't move at all, it might be too tight. If it moves ever so slightly, just a millimeter or two, then that's probably good. If it, you know, gives a lot, then you probably want to fix that. Tighten it down. Alright, where? Instructions. Right there. Alright, let's see chat here. No, the chair, this chair is not particularly complicated. And like I said, you know, I've got detailed instructions here which go through every step of the process. So it's, you know, very straightforward in terms of what needs to go where. And like I said, the oh no. The hardware bag is labeled very clearly with what step they belong to and what part they are. So 10E are these little cap things. What is that? Step 8, part D is this other kind of miniature screw. And then step 7, which I believe I just got to, part, okay, almost. Now it's just put the two pieces together. So step 7, which has part C, those screws are now all over the floor. So at least I know where they are. Okay. I'll just put those there for now. Alright, so now we're going to take the chair and put this hole here just on top of the gas lift. There we go. Finally got the name of it without looking. Okay, so now... not quite. Come on. Ow. Ow, got pinched. Ow. Ow. Alright, there we go. Oh, that's why. They're adjustable. So it didn't actually matter. It wasn't two lefts. It's just literally the same part. Okay. So now you've got a nice little footrest if you feel like that. All right. This is officially in. Okay. Now I do step 7, which is grab C screws, which I just put down here, and grab the back. So now we get the serious business. Alright, so we're going to turn this way, get it in between. Line up our screw holes. This actually has like screw holes in the leather, so it's a little weird. You want to make sure you don't like cross thread anything really badly. So kind of wobble it around, lift up and down until you actually get it right. No, that's not it. Alright, I need light. There's the other one. Okay, so it looks like the bottom one is like right on the surface. So I'm able to get it like immediately. Whereas the one on the top feels like it's much deeper in. And I was not even remotely threading. Oh, no. We have to push this. That's going to be fun. You know what? Let's get the bottom one on the other side first. Nope. Secure your items. Hopefully that did not bend anything. Sometimes it will. Okay. Okay. So we get the bottom in first because again that's the more secure one. And we go fishing around for the one on the top. If anybody's never really done assembly, the other thing that happens here is you can cross-thread screws, which is really dangerous for the screw itself. Not for you necessarily, but just it's bad for the screw. And if it's something that gets repeatedly like taken out, put back in, eventually the screw and or the medium and or whatever else will just fail. It goes pretty bad. That is not going in, is it? Yeah, we gotta push this in. Felt that one click. Alright, the one on the left seems to have gone in. Yeah. Alright, it's going. Alright, which means that we can then tighten the bottom one again. So this is where, going back and forth between two different screws and not tightening all the way is going to be helpful. So this one will go about halfway. When this gets tightened, this one starts getting looser. So then you might be able to either hand tighten again or just switch and go back to the other one. Now I should probably also get the other side so that we don't start getting too tight on that side and too loose on this side. So again, we'll go with the one that's already secure. Pull this in a bit by screwing it down, and then we go up top. And now it's cross-threaded. You can feel it sort of popping. That's not a good feeling. So you want to back it out by turning to the left. That's counterclockwise. Left on the top. And then turn right on the top. That's clockwise. In order to, or to any international viewers, that's clockwise and anti-clockwise. Alright, did that do it? No, that's worse. Ooh. Nope. Alright, give it a little bit of a wiggle, and as we hand tighten it, you should be able to find where it is most comfortable. There we go. top of your tools. Glad everybody's getting really good audio of this, because video is really laggy. Okay. I mean, it's my fault. I turned the resolution up on a camera that does not like high resolution. Alright, so again, just give it a little tug. Don't wrench it down with both hands. But right, so stick the tool in, and just with one hand, oops, right, this one's not tight yet. That's your test. Right, if your tool almost goes flying, that's too loose. Alright, so we go like this, keep going, keep going, keep going. Alright, so then just grab the end of it and just kind of give it a couple of tugs like that, and there's no real movement on this. This one went down from about like 5 degrees up to 5 degrees down, and then there's not really any movement on that. You only give it a few, like, you do not want to be measuring this torque in foot-pounds. It's going to be tiny. Okay, so then after we put those in, we grab the D. Oi. What's painful? Ouch, dude, you wound me. Yeah, the when it fell over, that was because this was secured. This was not really secured at all. It was sort of in there-ish, and then this side was not connected at all. So it just kind of toppled. There we go. Can only see the white side, so I didn't know which one it was. Okay. So, oops. Not step 10. Step 8, part D. Right, and if you don't have a fancy knife or anything like that, you can always just tear your fingers into it, or they give you a nice little tool. Jab the Phillips head in and rip out. Works beautifully. Okay, so now we need the covers, which are here. There's one for the right side and one for the left side, which are labeled. Woo! Left. Right. So, right side's going to go over here. On this one, let's just start with that one. So, it looks like I unceremoniously placed this directly on it. Let's make that sticker a little more permanent. Okay. It's kind of clipped on here, I think. Yep. Yep. Well, that's pretty nice. Alright, it's just a giant piece of plastic. Stick over the metal bits to make sure it doesn't scratch anybody or anything. It's looking like... It's doing okay. Doesn't feel quite right yet, but I think maybe part of that is just that I didn't secure it. Don't have the screws in. So, we have here... part is going to be down there. Okay. don't need to worry about this right now, but I'm just obsessing. There we go. Okay. This goes down here. Yep, good. So it is at least in the right place. And we do the same here. Yeah, apologies for it being like black on black. But it was the color. I had to travel for this thing too. Yeah, a whole like 10 miles. Okay, again, same deal. Get both of them in and then secure one and then the other. Okay, lost it. Alright, well I don't want to strip that screw. And I don't think it's super important to have it like all the way screwed down. Oh, there we go. Okay, or just back out and try it again. Alright, there's one. Other side, same deal. Pro tip, don't kick your shins directly into a big piece of plastic. Okay, again, just get it in. Go to the next one. Alright, there we go. Okay, and then tighten down. There we go. Alright, tighten it down. Yeah. Alright, that is probably too tight, so we'll just leave that. Alright, we want the lumbar and the headrest to be done next. Yeah, these two bits here. Nah. It's not complicated. I've definitely gone through much worse assemblies before. I will even say that, like, this computer was a much worse assembly than this chair. Of course, the other thing is that I didn't really have instructions on the computer. I did not have good instructions. Half of them are all like, well, if you have this kind of component, then here's the instructions you want. If you have this kind of component, now here's the instructions you want. And I was like, okay, well, that's easy enough. I can follow that. And then they were like, you know, install it this way. And they just kind of left me to do it. I'm like, that's unhelpful. Especially since with this being a liquid cooler, like if I screw that up. That seems bad. Liquid going loose in my computer case. It's fine. All right, neck rest. Let's go up here. These go through, it looks like. Yep, just shove them on through. Cool. Alright, then go to the back. Grab these. Pair them with these. These are nice and stretchy too. That's going to be fun when they fail. Alright, so then we can just take this and shift up and down as necessary. Because I'm short, it's probably not going to be that high. Wait, no, that's lumbar. Haha. Okay, this one's head. And colored things go at the bottom. Looks like an alien head or something like that. That works. All right. So that is it for the official assembly, and then we just have some screw caps to put in. To, I guess, ensure that the screws themselves aren't... I have no idea. Step 11, behold the finished product. It literally says that right there. Behold the finished product. I think I'd rather sit in it than behold it, but... Okay, so screw caps. Last step. So, Blaine, to your earlier point, I did work in a hardware store, so, you know, I did have to put together a lot of things, and that was when I was a teenager, so it really helped, you know, formative years and all that, learning how to put things together and how to fail miserably. Alright, so these are little circular shaped thingies. They've got a recessed portion. Sort of see it. Got like a recessed portion there, and we're just gonna basically stick it into the hole and push. I think I'm gonna probably use the... Oh, nope. Ah, it's flush. Alright, so it lies flush with the material. You can't actually, like, just feeling it, you can tell there's a difference there, but it's not like hugely noticeable. At least I don't think so. And then if we ever need to disassemble this, which the theory is that we shouldn't have to, but you know, if we ever have to disassemble this thing, we can take the screw caps out with a knife or something like that, and then start disassembling it with any sort of Allen keys that you have laying around. I have several Allen keys that are just, oh well, okay. I have several Allen keys that are just from other things like furniture that we put together, but I have a pretty nice set of tools from Husky, hashtag not sponsored, which are like mine, and I think my dad gave them to me before we moved out. Alright, let's see. Oh, this is the other problem. How do we play musical chairs? Alright, this might have to go up and over. I really don't want to land it on top of my control stick. Or my phone. This is nice and heavy. And the bottom might fall out. I keep forgetting about that. Don't hit the computer. Alright. And move hers through. Alright, here we go. It's hard. Okay, so it can go up and down. It can go... Ooh. There we go. It can go back some. Alright, pull the lumbar up. Neck rest is like way up here. Yeah, I think this works pretty nicely. It's still pretty hard. I think it just needs to be broken in, like sat in for 100 hours or so. I should have that by next week. But yeah, this is gonna work. Especially, so I'm also getting a new desk, which also means that I might be doing this again when I get a new desk. And then, so yeah, I have to clean out like a lot of random crap in this room. But I'm going to be shifting my two desktops that I have here, the Windows box and the Linux box, are going to kind of get shifted to one area where they can both be somewhat next to each other, and I've got a new power strip that I can put in. So this works. Alright, there we go. So now we got to recalibrate the camera here. Alright, so we're gonna drop out of this scene and drop back to the streaming scene. So give me 1 second here, this might do something weird.